Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's video. As you can see, the weather's not great today. The reason why that matters is that there is a mountain bike race in Tennessee tomorrow that I had debated on going to, but because I was just going kind of for fun, and the weather's like this, I highly doubt that I'm gonna go tomorrow. So I'm gonna stick to my TrainerRoad plan, which I'm still on the recovery week, so today is actually a 2-hour Zone 2 ride. That sounds boring. Man, that sounds boring. Yes, I know, Christmas is over. So I finally took down the Christmas decoration. So in the video that I posted yesterday, a couple people asked me if I had tried Xert. Xert is another training program just like TrainerRoad and Zwift and Sufferfest. However, just like the three, it has something slightly different about it. So since a couple people asked me about it, I've had somebody ask me about it before in a previous video, I thought that since the weather was so grim today, and that I'm still doing some boring trainer rides, that today would be a perfect day to test out Xert. So I went onto the website and I signed up for an account. However, you just saw me load TrainerRoad on my tablet for my workout. So I am not riding in Xert today, and I'm gonna tell you guys why, but I really need to get this workout out of the way because I've kind of been putting it off this morning. So I'm gonna do that first.
Met the other night, but I can't.
All right, guys, it's much later in the day now, but I wanted to talk to you about Xert. So in my last video where I talked about why I was riding in TrainerRoad over the Sufferfest and Zwift, a couple people mentioned Xert. So I got on the website, I registered my account, I linked my Strava, it uploaded my rides, it analyzed my rides, and it showed me my threshold power, and it was lower than what it actually is. There's a reason for that. You gotta realize that I synced 2 months worth of data from Strava, but for the past 3 months, I've mostly only done sweet spot efforts. I haven't done any threshold efforts or anything above threshold, so it can't calculate that any higher than what it did. I do believe there's a setting that can be adjusted to help with that if you're not somebody who does a lot of threshold efforts to help that calculate it a little bit more accurately, but I didn't dive into that today. I did sign up for the 30-day free trial. What's cool about the 30-day free trial is they didn't even ask for a credit card. That's awesome. So since I knew I had a 2-hour Zone 2 endurance ride on my TrainerRoad plan, I figured I'm gonna find a workout in Xert that is very similar to that. So I started to search through their workouts, and maybe I'm a little bit spoiled by TrainerRoad, but there are not nearly as many, and I couldn't find one that was exactly what I wanted. I was only limited to a few of them anyways since I had the free trial. So I thought I could just do something different. I didn't have to do my exact workout. I started to look at what their app looked like. Honestly, I just wasn't that impressed. So they have an app for Android, iOS, and the Garmin Connect IQ. So you can actually use your Garmin for this. That means you can do their rides outdoors, which technically you can't do with TrainerRoad. Technically you can if you mount your phone to your bars, but who really wants to do that for the most part? They did have something called Smart Workouts where they dynamically adjust to what's happening. Basically, Xert has their own version of TSS. TSS is actually trademarked by the people who own Training Peaks. Theirs is called XSS. XSS. very similar to TSS. Let's say you have a 10-minute threshold effort, but maybe you're riding a couple watts above threshold. It's actually going to dynamically change that because it had a set amount of XSS for that interval. And so you produced more than what you're supposed to, so it will actually shorten the duration so that you hit the target XSS. So I didn't do one of their workouts today, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to. Just looking through their workouts and looking at their app, I did not see any reason for me to choose them over what I'm currently doing with TrainerRoad. I'm also very happy with TrainerRoad at this moment. It would take a lot for me to want to change. But Xert does do more than just have workouts. They have what's called an adaptive training advisor. This advisor analyzes the data from your past rides, and it's going to suggest various things based on your settings. So for example, if you're on a base phase and you're trying to maintain, it's going to tell you what TSS you need to be doing, or sorry, XSS you need to be doing in order for that maintenance to happen. So for me, for an example, when it analyzes my data, it thinks that I'm trying to maintain a base phase. It doesn't know that I'm on a recovery week because that's my TrainerRoad plan. So it was telling me that I actually have a training deficit of, it was like 122. So it lets you know if you're in a deficit or a surplus on your training based on if you're maintaining or trying to build or even try to build aggressively. And then it will kind of tell you you need to do these rides, and it will suggest workouts to help you achieve those goals. The adaptive training is their answer to the training plan. They don't have training plans. If you listen to the TrainerRoad podcast, you know that they get questions all the time from people who say, I'm sick, I've missed 3 workouts, how do I continue the plan, what do I do? You wouldn't have that problem in this case because it's just going to adapt to that. Another thing that's interesting about Xert is they have this data called the maximal power available, the MPA. While you're riding outside, this MPA can kind of give you an idea of how many watts are in the tank, so to speak. If you're doing a 400 watt effort, it will tell you how many watts are available at that time. And obviously, if you recover, that number goes back up, and as you do harder intervals, it goes down. I was looking at forum posts online, and I saw where people had said they'd actually use this in a race to help it plan like emptying the tank so that they knew at the end of the race they had done as much as possible. I'm very conflicted by this number, okay? I've said it before, I really like data, but maybe this is too much data. Basically, this is kind of like the debate going on with power meters in the pro peloton right now. These professional athletes, they know how many watts they can sustain on these climbs. So if somebody attacks, they know if they can cover it or not. So if they can't cover it, then they don't bother. It's kind of the argument of basically racing based on numbers or racing based on feel. I kind of feel like this is the same thing. I don't know how I feel about that. I love data, but I also love the enjoyment of racing based on feel, riding based on feel. I don't know how I feel about this yet. I need to play with it outside to really get a good feel for it. It will also show you your TTE, which is time to exhaust. So again, if you're doing a 400 watt effort, it's gonna give you an idea of basically how long you can do that for. Leave it down in the comments below. What do you guys think? Would you wanna use this data while riding outside? Do you wanna see a number that basically tells you what you're capable of? Or would you prefer to just go based on feel? I wanna see what you guys think. And also for the people out there who are using Xert now that might be watching this video, are you guys doing their workouts? I'm really curious. Or are you just using it for ride analysis? They also have something pretty neat called a segment hunter. It gives you the wattage that you need to get the king of the mountain or the queen of mountain for that segment. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys have any comments about Xert, leave them down below. I'm still curious about it. I'm still learning about it. These are just my initial first impressions. Please give me a thumbs up. It does help the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.